Yes, sir. Good morning. This is Lagoon Radio, your number one online gospel radio in Nigeria and the official radio of the Anglican Diocese of Lagos. We are transmitting live from the Archbishop's Palace right here in Marina, Lagos. Yes, how is your day going? I know you can remember whenever you hear that song on Lagoon Radio, it is time for State of the Nation, our political program on Lagoon Radio. Yes, and this morning we'll be looking at 2023 politics. Where are the youths? Yes, we've been asking that question. Remember, you can download the app on Google Play Store and Apple Store. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Facebook, Lagoon Radio Nigeria, and on Instagram, Lagoon Radio NG. Yes, that's doubles for Instagram and Twitter. And you can listen to us directly via the link www.lagoonradio.ng. Yes, on Facebook, we are streaming live. Yes, you can watch us live on Facebook. And this morning, yes, we have a politician in the house. When we talk about where are the youths, yeah, and we have a youth in the studio. We have Femi Oluwasomi. Femi, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me.
Yes, 2023 is around the corner. Like some people will say, that we are in 2022, but our politicians are already in 2023. Are you part of those that are already in 2023?
Yes. Normal politicians are already in 2023.
Okay, now that will bring us to the question. In 2018, precisely 31st of May, the president signed a bill, Not Too Young to Run. And a lot of Nigerians commended that bill, and there were jubilations all over the nation. But 3 years down the line, we are asking, where are the youths?
That's a great question. The youth are everywhere,
Okay.
but they are not visible to the power broker because of so many factors that is affecting even us as a nation. The youth, they are everywhere, but they are not visible. But when it gets to a time of violence, causing trouble, creating problems, that's where they will know that the youth exists. So youth are everywhere. They are ready to serve the nation. And if you trace it back to history, you know that even our independence, everything that we are here today, everything that we have today, all the achievements we made in this country, we are done by the youth. The Ernest Okoli of this world, the Awolowo of this world, the Nnamdi Azikiwe, the Abat Macaulay, and all those people that fought colonial master to stand still, they were youths. They started in their 2030s. And if you look at the development then, when we had youth in power, and now with the development that we're having now, you know that there is a difference. You know, you cannot compare the two of them because, you know, youth naturally, God give us talent, God give us power and energy to think. Because for you to talk about development, you must think. But the ability to think is what is missing in our leadership today. Though we have enough of, we have so many advisors and others. And when you even check the advisor that we are having, that we are talking about, you see some of them. The majority of them, they are people that are in their 60s, and we all know we all have elderly people at home. You know, we know the way they think, we know the way they forget things at times. You know, those are the things. So the youths are everywhere, but they are not visible when it comes to the issue of political process to the power brokers. But when it comes to the issue of violence, they are being used by those that pretended as if they do not exist.
Okay. When you say youths are everywhere and they are not in the political space, are youths allowed to contest for elections in Nigeria?
Yes, theoretically, you are allowed to contest. The Constitution gives us the right to contest for any position, even up to the presidency level. In fact, thank God for the Yaga and others that actually mounted pressure on the government that led to the reduction in the age, the minimum age of people, of the political aspirant, or anybody that want to hold political office. But at the same time, looking at the reality on ground and looking at the form of the political parties, we have political parties and we have political parties. And looking at the parties that that at least their end, there is hope of winning. Look at their form, look at the money, look at the nomination form, look at the interest form, look at the money they fees. And look at the level of unemployment. As we have now, we have over 30-something% of Nigeria that are not unemployed. Look at the level of poverty. Look at the level of insecurity. All those things, they are things that you see, they are affecting the youth. Theoretically, you are allowed to contest. You are eligible to contest. The Constitution says if you are Nigerian and you have reached a certain age, that you can contest. But where is the power? Where is the power to mobilize people? Now they give you, that's why I say theoretically, the youths, they are allowed to contest. But when you're talking about reality, how many youth can avoid 10 million naira for election? Because the minimum you are going to spend if you are contesting for House of Assembly is that you cannot spend less than 10 million naira, 7 million. You are telling me that youth, 25 years, that is not from very wealthy family and all those things. And where do you want to get it? Although some people took God's grace and all those things. But when you are talking about youth are allowed to contest theoretically. But looking at the reality, some youths, they will consider their pockets and look at, after even contesting, you are not sure of winning. Then even the little you have, you want to spend it. So you see, so that is the issue we have. Theoretically permitted to contest, but the circumstances on ground, the reality on ground is pointing to different direction.
Okay, let's talk about the reality now. Last year, the PDP in their convention, a 25-year-old was elected as the national youth leader of the PDP, and it was celebrated. In fact, it was massive. And I heard one of the politicians speak. He said that is a hope to the Nigerian youths, and this is reality we are talking about. Has that raised hope or consciousness among Nigerian youths?
Actually, what the PDP did recently has raised hope. Because I've been wondering, you will talk about youth leader, you have people like 60 years, 50 years, and you will be calling them youth leaders. But now with the 25 years old man coming on board, is a great hope for us that at least youth can have a say and youth can also have a way, in the system. But the issue is, the guy that won the national youth leader, if you look at his history, he has been doing activities in his constituency and he has been creating awareness for years. So it's not that they just go and they just picked him and picked him up. He has created awareness, and that is why I've always advised people that youth also should start creating awareness. While we blame others also, we should also look at it. So it's a great hope for us, because number one, it opens way for others also. And it's also, it kind of raise awareness, created awareness, and at least also awaken us, especially the youth, that okay, if we can have a national youth leader of a strong party at the age of 25 years, a person that is 25 years becoming the national youth leader of PDP, that shows that then there is hope for the youth, and that we also encourage more youth to go into politics. And I think that is even the major reason why the PDP took that decision. They want youth to come into politics. That is why they actually did what they did.
Okay. Sometime in 2020, there was a movement. Yes, it was the NSAS movement, and which moved in a certain way. And a lot of people thought that was another movement that will herald another political party that will be led by youth. But going to 2 years now, we've not seen any active participation, maybe from the leaders of the NSAS. But during that time, they said they had no leaders. But we know some people channeled their energy to achieving that. What would have happened, or what happened that made that we saw the end, but the fire, the spirit, the zeal the youths had then, what happened that they couldn't transcend it into establishing a political party?
No, in Nigeria, to establish reality, to establish a political party in Nigeria, you need money. You need serious funding to establish political party in Nigeria. And majority of the youths then that we even have, some of them, no, they are not, they don't have enough money. Number one, to start with, and number two is that even the movement, there are people behind the movement that were not seen. And this movement also, just like when we had the fuel subsidy then, they had people that also, the movement also had something to people that also that are behind the door, the closed door, that they are even sponsoring the movement. And also, the youth that were used also, they don't have the strength to continue the movement, because the purpose that they were used, that they were designed for, has been achieved. So the problem is the youth cannot turn it to political party because there is no political strength to sustain the movement. There is no political strength. So that is the problem we're having. So, and even among the youth that we are even clamoring and shouting for change, then there were people that were planted among them. And also the youth, the personal interests. It's also another problem. Everybody want to become this at the same time. Everybody want to become leader. You see now, they've granted not too young to run. Then go and look at different youth movement. I think I was in my Facebook. You see this one, youth movement, not too young to run. How do you want to, and that is the problem we're having, divide and rule system. Divide and rule system. How do you want to have a voice when you are so highly divided? So that is the problem that I think that's one of the reasons why the movement collapsed. Because as we are seeing now, it has collapsed. Because even some of them that we are even leading the front, shouting change and all this, they are part of people that are even campaigning for the people that are not youth. I'm not saying they are old, but they are not youth that are also fronting another political movement.
Okay. On the opening, you said something. You said that a lot of achievements that we are made in this country were made by the youth. Let's look at it this way. Was there something that worked that time that is not working now? Or was there any orientation that they had that time that the present youth are not having, considering that we are in a modern and technological world?
The issue is society. The way it is configured, and the foundation of every society matters. And that is why there is a general saying that when the foundation is destroyed, what can the righteous do? Even let's go back to the pre-colonial era. The pre-colonial era, there were roles that were given to the youth. For instance, in the eastern part of Nigeria, in the Igbo land, we have what they call youth assembly under the system before the colonial era. And when you come to Yoruba also, you have what they call Egbe Odo. They had their rules. And that's why you see they were functioning well before the incursion of the colonial masters. Now, let's assume that the colonial master that came, they've reconfigured the system, they've created another territory, they've merged all those all those different territories, they merged them together under the amalgamation of 1914, which actually prepared so many movements also, and also ignited fire of liberation that we had in 1960. Now, the youth then, they were about how do we make a country, not about how did they make themselves. Even some of them, they read abroad, instead of staying abroad and be enjoying it. No, they came back to Nigeria, started fighting for the liberation of our people. So the problem now is the interest of the youth then, and the interest of the youth now is not in the same direction. It's not like the same thing. The youth then were about nation building. Why majority of the youth now, and because of the situation on ground, some of them, their interests are not about the building of the nation, but how did they build themselves? And that's why when they start starting youth movement, and by the next time you see, there will be crisis, there will be fight, because by the time the money bag enters, then there will be arguments. You will see different of them breaking and forming parallel youth movements. So then the interest was like, we want a better Nigeria, we want a peaceful Nigeria, we want the liberation of our people, not the liberation of their pockets. But nowadays, majority of the people that we have, the youth that we are calling, that we have, majority of them, what they want to is, how did they liberate their pockets? How did they create an empire for themselves? And the societal, sociological factor also is also part of it. Then the leaders, the elders that were there in the pre-colonial in the colonial era, they encourage the youth then to seek about the development of the nation. They encourage the youth then to seek about fighting for the liberation of Nigeria. Not that the youth, the elders that we have now, that before, when you even declare a vision or when you start forming any movement, the next thing they will be telling you that take this one and don't do it like this, do it like this. They will start doing things that that we even make. They will start using money to entice the youth and try to break the movement. But then you see them, they were about how do they develop Nigeria? How are they going to make sure that Nigeria is being liberated from the colonial master? That's the only difference that I can, at least at this point. But now we also know that even the system is highly corrupt, and the system also does not give room for youth to actually do well, because now everywhere everything is monetized. Everything is monetized. You talk about small thing, they ask for money. Those are the things that I see that are different from what we have.
Okay, before we go on a break, you are contesting in the 2023 election. Yes. What motivated you as a youth to embark on this journey?
Yeah. One thing that I think I was saying this guy is that my own is that what I saw at my constituency when I started doing empowerment program for them, debates for students, I saw a lot of things that changed my mind. Though even during my service here, there are so many things I did also. About 8 years ago, when I go to the village in the north and I saw that the school was like everywhere, I tried my best. I built toilets, do so many things for them, planted trees, so that because of everything I did. So coming to my own constituency, I saw the level of destruction. You get to some school, I got to some school, I was crying because there was no chair, no table. Some, you see the building collapsing, and I said, okay, I cannot continue to be doing inter-school debate alone, because this one has gone beyond inter-school debate or trying to encourage. This one is action. We need action. Then how do you have the action? By seeking for power, and when you get the power, you will use the power to at least rebuild the system. That's why if you see my slogan, I always say mission to rebuild. The meaning of rebuilding, mission to rebuild, that rebuild, if you notice, I always write it in capital letter. The first one is repositioning. The second one is about educational, economic development. The third one is about better education for all. I use the word better education for all because there are private schools there. So when you are developing a part of a society, because you have money, sending your some students are going to private school, some are not going to school. Because to me, the public school there are nothing to write about. That is why I use the word better education for all, not for a set of the society, and that is where I'm going to start with, and that is the reason why I want to contest. Number one, if I know that education sector must be revived, and that is why when you see all my programs that I'll be doing has been tailored toward education, because the reason why is that education is the foundation of the society. If you see any society that is prospering today, go and look at the education. And if you see collapsing society or collapsing states, just as we have in the Northeast, go and look at the foundation of education. When they were giving free education to students, to children in the West, by Obafemi Awolowo, then as to what were they giving to the children in that particular region? And now everybody, we didn't do everything. We were looking aside, oh, it's for the North. Now the insecurity degenerated to everywhere now, that even to travel from my village to another village, everybody is afraid. We are all afraid. So now what is prompting me or motivating me to go into it is number one to rebuild the system, and that's why I'm using repositioning, economic development, better education for unlimited access to healthcare, because even the healthcare too is nothing to write home about. And also when you're not talking about, I also have inclusive empowerment. That is, it's not going to be for one set, but for everybody. And now we have limitless opportunity for the youth, because I know I'm a youth. So I must have limitless opportunity for the youth. We must always strive to how we do empower our youth. And now the third one, the last one, which is development of sports and agricultural sector. Because in that area, majority of them, what they do most is agriculture. So I will see how I can empower them, because while you are talking about education, the empowerment of the people also must also be put into consideration. And most things that they do, the major work is agriculture. Then how do we do that? Giving them so many things that will enhance their produce. And that's why I said my mission. That's why you see mission to rebuild. So what is prompting me is rebuilding agenda. I want to go and rebuild the place and make sure that I create an every environment for all. And that is the vision. That is the reason why I'm going, and I'm trying my best to make sure that I achieve this goal. And make sure that I put in place things that in their record I will be remembered forever.
Okay, we'll go on this short break. When we come back, we'll look at other things that relates this to the youth. Remember, you're still listening to State of the National Political Program on Lagoon Radio, and Femi Oluwasanmi is still here. We'll be right back after this break.
This is Lagoon Radio.
Nigeria stand up, Nigeria stand up. Join me say, yeah. We're a great nation.
This is Lagoon Radio.
Yes, you're welcome back. You are still on to Lagoon Radio, your number one online gospel radio in Nigeria and the official radio of the Anglican Communion Diocese of Lagos. We are transmitting live from the Diocesan Palace right here in Marina, Lagos. Yes, and Femi Oluwasomi is here. Remember, you can download the app on Google Play Store and Apple Store. Follow us on our social media platforms on Facebook, Lagoon Radio Nigeria. Of course, we are streaming there too. And on Instagram and Twitter, Lagoonradio.Ng. And we are looking at 2023 politics. Where are the youths? And yes, fortunately, we have a youth in the studio who is also a contestant in the 2023 elections. Yes, when we talk about the youths, and you've ruled out your vision, but in the recent years, we've seen youths fail in Nigeria. Is that why the elderly are not giving space to the youth in Nigeria? Because a lot of names have popped out for the 2023 general election. The president, we've had the likes of Bola Tinubu, Atiku Abubakar. These are way older men, over 60. And we are not seeing younger people from 50 to... The only younger candidate I've seen is Kingsley Moghalu. Is that why? Because a lot of youths have failed. We cannot mention names. Is that why the elderly are not giving the youths a space in the political face of this nation?
Thanks so much. When we talk about the youth failure or the youth that failed, then we should not at the same time forget that when you're talking about system, you have to look at the majority. Before we say that the youth has failed or the youth have failed, the first thing you look at, what are the percentage of the youth in the system? What are the percentage of the elderly in the system? Because, a system is like combination of different subsystems. So when you are rating failure or success of a system, you look at the elements that make up the system. So now the youths are a minority, and democracy is about the majority. So, for instance, if you're talking about National Assembly, how many youth are there? Talking about State Assembly, how many youth are there? So now, the youth, to me, they've not failed because they've not been given plain ground to prove themselves. Some of the youth that you even see there, they have been teleguided by the elderly people. For instance, you saw one of the youth that was praising the issue of godfatherism or not godfatherism. And you know the reason why he's doing that. We all know. So the youth, to me, has not failed. The youth have not failed. Because the youth, they have the potential to rewrite the history of the country. And those ones there, the ones that are there, might not be performing up to the expectation because of the hostile environment created by the population of the elderly people. So, the youth, to me, they've not failed. What you are just seeing now is the manifestation of the hostile environment created by the people that are old, that are occupying the position. So the youth, to me, they've not failed. They've not failed at all. They've not failed to me. I will not. That's the only thing I've just seen. The youth have not failed. So, and when you're not talking about the number of them, why are they not? For instance, you made mention of the youngest person that you've seen that is aspiring to contest for presidency. Is Moghalu.
Yeah.
Nigeria is a very big country, and that is why when you are talking about ambition and actualization, there must be time frame. And there must be strategic planning. It will be very difficult for a youth to win presidency in Nigeria. Because, number one, apart from the issue of money, the issue of the structure. You know how many local governments in Nigeria alone? That is 774 local governments. And inside one local government, you have about 70 wards. Now multiply it. And these are the areas where we have. These are the areas where you have polling units, about thousands of polling units. So when we are talking about youth participation in politics, we should also be at least be put into consideration the environmental factors. The youth that want to contest should know where he will be aspiring to contest. You want to become president, you've not even passed through the other areas, like maybe governor, you have not contested for governorship before, you've not been senator, you've not been House of Rep, and you want to contest for presidency. Even you've not been able to even prove yourself at your word that you belong to a political party. No, we must at this time we must be able to differentiate between noise and voice. So the youth that will contest for presidency will be youth that maybe he has been holding public office for years, and he must have been participating in politics, and that is the advantage that these elderly people they have. But most of them, for instance, the current president that we have now in Nigeria was president before, was head of state before, so they've already created the structure. So to win a Nigerian election, it's not easy for the youth. And looking at the level of poverty that the government have created, that the system has created, don't let me say government, that the system has created. So now you want people to vote for you, you have to give them something. People will be requesting for you for transportation, for this and that and that. Where do you want the youth that just graduated from university to see this money? So to contest for presidency in Nigeria is not a small position. So I will advise the youth that are really serious to look for position that at least when you tell people that you want to contest, people can even listen to you and support you. So that's why I said you must be able to know the timing. So you might want to become president. You might have seen the vision that God made you that you are going to be president of Nigeria. But that does not mean that it's going to be that day, from that day that you saw the revelation. You must be working towards it. And how do you do that? By trying to look at yourself, which position can I start from now? Then from there, when you do things, and people see that, this guy really performed, then from there they cannot say, okay, come and go up and represent us. So, but the problem with us is that you will see some youth now, they are forming, now they've started forming different parties now. You have this party. And from now, you now see the youth that has not contested for anything before, that even in his word is not known. We say, you want to become president of Nigeria, and we will give a press conference. And from there, now one thing that is also making them to feel as if they have the weight is because of social media. So many youth, they are heavy. For instance, for the issue of this one contestant in Lagos, like for instance, if you look at the social media, Andrew, he has about 6 million. And if you look at the result of the election, so now when you're talking about ambition, and you're talking about presidency, it's a very great task to do. So the youth we need to plan, and you need to strategize, and for you to be able to achieve that dream, number one, you must be you that. For this, even in advanced country, go and look at for the current president of France. They have been holding positions. Not that you just wake up from one place and you. No, it won't work. And Nigeria is a very big country that is now inflicted with poverty syndrome. So now the youth must be able to have strong structure and plan, and there must be unity. We have about 60 something percent when you're looking at the population, but when you're like looking at population, but after the election, you see that these people, they will still be the one that will stay occupy the place. So in Nigeria, the presidency is a very great task for the youth to aspire to contest. I must be honest.
Okay, talking about youth and the participation, you mentioned something earlier. Let's look at civil societies. Look at Yaga and Serap, what they have done over the years. Should there be more orientation for people, for youth, to be involved in this in politics? Because for me, the National Orientation Agency over the years, I can't see their impact in the national politics. So, but what Yaga and the Serap are doing, should there be more emphasis laid, or should there be more sensitization made for youth to? Because you also mentioned the largest population of Nigeria is youth, and they are the ones that suffer these maladministrations. What should we do, or what needs to be done for more youth to participate?
Now, you just made mention of awareness creation. You know that spirit, that is this kind of inferiority complex. Some youth, when they have the capacity, even some of them, they have the strength, but they will, because of the story they've heard, immediately they will say, no, I can't go and waste my money. The little money I've gathered for years, I can't go and waste it. And that is it. I can't go and waste it. And it's true. Because if you look at the percentage of youth that contested in the last election, and you see the result, you see that it's like very, 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 very low. So now what we need to do, at the same time, what we need to do is for more of Yaga. I was at one Yaga's program recently that they did. I attended the program. They invited so many people, they gave education, enlightened us on some of the things that we need to do. We need more of civil society organization to come and rescue this nation by giving us orientation, creating awareness, even in some area, in some distance, supporting the youth after their primaries. When this one, okay, you've given me the ticket. This is the total support we will be giving to you. So we need more, because when you're talking about National Orientation Agency, it cannot help in this situation, because it's an arm of government. And you know that the people that are the affair of the government, most of them, they are in their 60s. Recently, some people said that even President Buhari, when he signed the thing, not too young to run in 2018, he made mention of one thing. He made a statement. He said that you should wait till after 2019 before you come contest. And the same statement was repeated by one of the aspirants about 4 days ago. That you will still become president though, but you go and wait, let me to finish. When I finish, you come out. That is it. So now, so you can't expect people with that kind of orientation to allow the National Orientation Agency to function the way they ought to function in the area of educating the youth and creating awareness and consciousness. So, but the effort of the civil society organization like Yaga and others, if you can have more of them that are not governmental, they are not governmental organization, they are not partisan, they will give proper education to the youth. Okay, they will tell them, okay, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to do, and this is the area we can support you. Because when you're talking about election in Nigeria, election needs support. So, but the first thing is that you must have ambition. If you are not interested now, nobody will support you. If you are not interested, nobody will support you. And if you don't, you might be interested, but if you don't take action, nobody will support you. So there is need for awareness creation. Just as you have said, we need to create more awareness. Like, for instance, the awareness now, the level of awareness now is different from the one of the year 2015. If you look at the number of youth that participated in the last election, you know that they have increased. And that is the work of civil society. Now, look at what will happen now. This coming election, you see that there will be increase increase in the number of youth that were participating in this election. And not apart from even from the outcome of the 2020 protest also, that also NSAS protest that also created awareness. So what we need now most is that awareness creation. Creating awareness, telling the youth that you have the capacity to do it. Try to let us know that, oh, youth, you can do it. Then we ready to support you in this area. And because the area of support is where the youth are failing. For instance, if you look at the percentage of the youth that contested in that election and those that won the election, you see that there is a kind of lacuna. There is a gap between ambition and actualization. So we need to bridge that gap by even the non-governmental organization coming together, seeking for funds.
Okay. Now, when we talk about numbers, in the last election in 2019, we had about 4 states that had 4 young speakers, like Oyo State. Yes, Oyo State had the youngest speaker in Nigeria. Some other states, we had about 4 states that elected members into their parliament. And looking at the numbers again, like you said, do you believe that by 2023 that we can have a lot more in the different houses of assembly? Looking at the House of Rep, I can only remember about, in fact, they are not up to 20 in the House of Reps. So do you think that by 2023 that we will have a lot of youths in that House of Reps?
Yes. That is one thing that we must also credit this administration for, at least for signing into law the Not Too Young to Run, which has opened space for so many youth. So automatically, by year 2023, we have more youth in the political space. We have more youth in the political space. Even look at the posters that are out now. You look at so many posters, you feel that even the number of aspirants has increased. They've increased. The numbers have increased. So now, by 2023, automatically, we have more youths in the political space, holding political office. Because now, more youths are interested than before. Youth has now discovered that you cannot continue to be voting. They said if you are 18 years, you can vote. But if you are not up to 30 years, before the amendments, you cannot vote. But now they've reduced it to 25 years. And now we are even looking at this, we reduce it to 20 or even 18. If you have the ability, if you can think yourself that I want to vote for this person, then you should be able to think that for yourself that I ought to contest for this position. So now we need to even reduce the age. But with even the little they've done, at least they've increased youth participation in politics. And at the same time, by 2023, we should expect more youth in the political office.
Okay, now let me get your thoughts on the saga. Should I call it saga? What has been going on? The president's assenting to the bill, the electoral bill. As a politician and someone who is hoping to win a seat, what does that bill mean to Nigerians? Because it has generated a lot of controversies. The president has not signed. It was said yesterday that he was hours away from signing. But now we're hearing that he may sign on Friday. This is a bill that had been going back and forth. What does that bill mean for the electoral system, and what impact will it have on the youth directly?
One thing about the bill is, in Nigeria, we have so many laws. But almost everything that we have, there are laws. But the question is, why are we having increase in the crime rate? Why most of the things that we made law for, why are they happening? And they continue to happen. So now, the issue is, signing the bill or not signing the bill. Nigeria election, for now, is still far away from having what is expected to be, from being what is expected to be. The outcome that everyone is supposed to be, like a system, like if you have a system you put in, you expect results based on what you put in it. But in our Nigerian system, our election is still far away from that kind of process. But at the same time, Signing the bill will reduce the level of fraud because it will give room for at least transmission of results quickly. And at the same time, creates avenue for more transparency. But at the same time, we all know that even there are still areas that we don't have network in this country. There are still areas that we don't have light. There are still areas that even to get to that place is still problems. And these are the areas that we have to contest and that you have to count vote. You have to vote. So that might be the reason why the government is trying to look at, okay, what are the areas that we need to address? What are the areas that we need to amend in the system? What are the areas in the bill that is proposed? What are the areas that we need to do? Maybe that is why he has not signed the bill. But at the same time, we cannot continue to delay because the election that we want the bill for, that we want to sign the bill for, is approaching. I know INEC has to also prepare for the election, have to prepare manual, and all these things will be based on the law, on this amendment that we're talking about. That is why people are saying that president should sign the bill on time. And I think they said tomorrow it might be signed. But the issue on the bill is that the bill, maybe they sign it or not, there is always way out for this system, to carry out what, I don't want to say politicians or for our people that are there, but there is still, there are still areas that we need to improve in our system in order for us to have adequate results when we are talking about election. So the bill is just is going to improve the system, but at the same time, it might not really affect the system or give us the expected results. But at the same time, it is advisable that the president sign the bill quickly, since democracy is about the people, it's the government of the people, by the people and for the people. And people are saying, we need this bill. We want it. What about election is confidence. We don't want us, okay, so that everybody will know that, we have already built confidence. So now, I'm of the opinion also with the people that the president should sign the bill. But we all know that even without the bill, with the bill, those that will still they will still carry out this thing. They always have way. When they introduce card reader, it was after when card reader was introduced that the increase in the rate of money vote buying. It was after the card reader that the vote buying, the rate of vote buying increased. So that Nigeria just come on with that particular law. There will always be way to counter it. That's why I think the president and his team member, his cabinet, they are trying to look at how do we make sure that we have a perfect bit. So the president, in his own wisdom, in his own wisdom, is trying to make the bill to be okay. But at the same time, Nigeria won the bill as it is now before the election, so that at least we can be able to reduce the level of inadequacy that we always have in our system.
Okay, let me get your closing thoughts. You are contesting again for 2023. As a youth, how hopeful are you to emerge victorious in that election, even from the primaries? Because election starts from the primaries. How hopeful are you that you can emerge victorious?
One thing, as a Christian, I believe in God, and I believe in time, and I believe in appointed time. When I say time, appointed time, and that is why I've been doing my humanitarian service for years. In the north, I've done that. Even while I was doing my service here, I did a lot of projects. I just believe that doing good, attempting, telling people of your intention, interest, and ambition to correct the inadequacy that you observe is the best way to voice out your concern, which I'm doing. And at the same time, I know that people are watching. People are seeing what you are doing. People themselves, they know who is the best for them, which I'm very, very sure that by the time they will be looking at my record, they will believe that this is the best candidate for them. And you know, my people, I know them. They are lovely people. They are great people. And I know that when the time comes for them to judge who is to represent them, they will surely pick me because of my past, because of what I have done to the society, and because of what I am promising to do. So I'm very, very confident, and I know that I will emerge at the primary level, and when it comes to the election, I win the election, because they said a journey of 1,000 miles start with a step, and me, I've started taking the step for years. So, and that will be, and the length I've reached, they will look at it and they will give it a measure, and my people will decide who to be, which I'm very sure that they will actually make me. So that's why I'm confident that my people are good people and they are looking at what I'm doing. And when the time comes for them to judge, they will surely say, okay, our child, our son, oh yeah, go and represent us. So the judgment is on the people.
Okay, good luck to you on your ambitions. And thank you so much for coming on the program. Right. We hope to see you whenever we'll call on you.
Thanks.
Okay, and that's the size of the package this morning on State of the Nation, our political program on Lagoon Radio. That was Femi Oluwasomi. He's a politician. He's contesting for the House of Assembly in Osun State. And join us again next week, Thursday, by 10 a.m. when we'll bring you another bumper package edition of the State of the Nation. From me, Anosike Chimezie, is goodbye. And thanks to our producer, Oluwaseyi Ajadi, for pressing the right buttons. See you again next Thursday.
This is Lagoon Radio.